sure? Great. Okay. So anyway, welcome to the panel of women's empowerment. And just being somewhere that I'm not usually, and knowing that I've got to overcome technical things. And if I can't overcome them, we're going to work with them. That's it. That's what it is. I said, thank God I have my phone. We'll work with that. We're going to be able to record it. Thank God we've got Lesley's recording. Somehow or other things work out. But I felt that I wanted to do this panel particularly now because when we think about Hanukkah, so we think about the light, we think about the victory of the Maccabim over the Greeks. And one of the one of the main characters here was Yehudit. Yehudit, who's not written in the Tanakh, it wasn't included, but she was the daughter of the high priest Yochanan. And the city of Jerusalem was under siege. They couldn't get any food. There was no food in the city, and the people couldn't cope anymore. They couldn't manage it. They said, we're going to give in. We're going to give in. We're going to give in. And she said, please let me go. Please let me go. She went out and basically she seduced the army officer, and she gave him a wonderful meal with lots of cheeses and whatever else it was, made him really thirsty, got him drunk, okay, because she gave him lots of wine. And then she actually did, she killed him, and she took his head back to Jerusalem. And when all his officers saw what had happened, they had no general, they had no nothing. It's like they ran away, and then the city was open again. And this was a very big game changer for the Maccabim, for the people in the victory against the Greeks. So as we come up to Hanukkah, I think it's important for us to know the important role the women can play. One of the other reasons that I personally wanted to do this is because I have a very strong feeling about women and their abilities and their koach. And often, and I've had people say to me, but Gila, within the religion, women aren't so strong, so powerful, so considered. And I consider Jewish women to be very well respected, very powerful. And we see this, and I personally don't feel that I'm lacking anything within my role as a Jewish woman that I feel I need to take on anything extra. Like, I know there are some people that feel they would like to say, like, to put on tefillin or other things. It's like, that's a man's mitzvah. I have my mitzvot. I'm happy with them. I'm respected. And I'll go into it a little bit more later. But now I want to ask Lesley to begin. Okay, Lesley, I'd like you very much. I'm talking quickly because there's lots to say and lots to be said. Okay, so I hope that's okay, but it's a jam-packed amount of time, jam-packed slot that we have, so I really want us to benefit to the maximum. Okay, so I'd like to ask Lesley to please introduce yourself, tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and how you would recommend for our ladies here to empower themselves. Okay, thanks, Lesley.
Great, thank you, Gila. Firstly, should I spotlight whoever's speaking? Do you want me to do that, or when you were Frimet speaking?
Or whatever.
Or just to leave it like this. Okay, then I just want to remind everyone that when I show some slides, you have the option of viewing this as a gallery or basically as a speaker. So in order to see the slides larger, so view it as for the speaker. It's on the top right-hand side of your screen. All right, that way you'll be able to do it and see it properly. All right, so firstly, Gila, thank you so much for inviting me to speak on this panel. I was really excited when you asked me because this is a topic that I'm very, very passionate about. And Frimet, very good to meet you as well. We haven't officially met yet, so I'm very happy to be able to share this panel with the three of us. So to introduce myself, I've been in business for over 25 years. And what I do is I enhance women and men, but focusing mostly on women, to build and brand their business. That is my tagline. And what I do is I basically, through strategy and planning and workshops, as well as one-on-one coaching, I assist women in reaching their goals, overcoming their any areas where they feel that they're a little bit uncertain, working towards and beyond their comfort zone. So this topic was like a perfect topic for me because, as I said, I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about helping people and helping people move forward. So I did prepare some slides, which I want to talk about, which will enable us. Can everybody see the slides? Okay, which will enable us to go through a couple of different things. So firstly, what I want to say really, really important is that there's different ways of looking at women's empowerment. And what I've chosen to focus on is basically the strengths and what we can do more from an internal aspect in terms of developing ourselves and empowering ourselves, and not looking at or from a feminist point of view in terms of when people talk about discrimination or lack of advancement or unequal pay. All right, because even though that is an element that does exist in society, I don't, even though I definitely enforce empowering women, I don't specifically or don't call myself or identify with all these hardcore feminists out there, and that's not what this is about. This is about what you can do internally as a woman and as a Jewish woman to empower yourself. And when you empower yourself, you'll also be empowering your children, your grandchildren, your friends, and become a role model to a lot of people out there. So I hope you've got some pen and paper. And what we're going to be doing is talking about a couple of different things. So firstly, what I'd like to say is that empowerment is basically suitable for all ages. Empowering yourself as a woman is not necessarily when you're between the ages of 20 and 40. It's empowering yourself as a child. It's about teaching our children or our grandchildren to empower themselves. And we'll talk about in a moment what is empowering. It applies to all sectors, okay? Yes, male, female, religious, non-religious, Jewish, non-Jewish, and it applies to everyone in their, no matter what your job or what your career is. In other words, you can be a lower or medium level employee. You can be maybe a clerk or a teller or something like that, or you can be a manager or even the CEO of a firm, and the clerk may feel more empowered than the CEO. And we're going to look at a couple of things and different tips on what we can do. So firstly, let's just define what is empowerment, okay? And you'll see that I've highlighted a couple of words here. The process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially controlling one's life and claiming one's rights. So as I mentioned before, I'm not going to be talking about rights right now. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how can we internally as women become stronger, feel more confident, feel that we're in more control of our life. And as a result, we'll be able to help other people and positively influence other people as well. So let's look at a couple of tips of what you can do, each and every one of us, to help ourselves feel more empowered, okay? I will just apologize if I am coughing every now and then. I've actually been sick, so my voice is a little bit hoarse. So if I feel I need to cough, I'll put myself on mute just for a second, and then I'll carry on. All right, so firstly, one of the things to empower us is doing what we love every day. That means choosing a profession or choosing to work in something that you are passionate about, that you love every day. Once again, it doesn't matter what it is that you do, but if it's something that you do enjoy doing, then you will feel empowered. And if it's something, if you're not really able to choose, or you feel that you're not enjoying your job that much, choose something within your position that you do enjoy and emphasize that. We're not always fortunate to be able to be doing exactly what we love doing every day. But if you choose just one thing or one activity within your job, in every tough gig, in every job, there will always be something that we don't enjoy. That comes, it comes with the show. But highlight the things you do enjoy, and then you will feel more empowered. The other thing that we need to do, and this is something that I've really tried to focus on more recently with myself, is self-care and balancing our work-life balance a little bit easier. We all go through stages where work takes over and we feel we're not really putting into our personal life and into everything, our health, everything else, as much as we want. When we do self-care and when we do emphasize properly and correctly the work-life balance, and I'm not talking about in any given day where you have a deadline to meet or in every given week, I'm talking about on an ongoing basis. When you feel that you're in control with your work-life balance, you will feel more empowered as a person and as a woman. The third thing that I want to say is not relying on someone else to feel or to determine your worth. What very often happens is that we put our hands in somebody else's life. We rely on maybe a husband or a boyfriend or a boss or somebody or a partner to make us feel more worthwhile. And I know it's easier said than done, but if we can try and just rely on our own self-worth and talk positively to ourselves and look in the mirror and realize your benefit and see where you're going and see your worth, then you'll feel a lot more empowered than if you rely on somebody else to say you're doing well, you're good, you're not good. Okay, so that's something to really try and work on. So on that note, one of the things what I'd like you to write down, either now during the session, Gila, I don't think we'll have enough time for me to get active involvement, but if we do, we can do this afterwards, is I'd like you to write down and work on your strengths. Many people feel that in order to improve, we need to improve our weaknesses. So one area is to improve our weaknesses, but more important, if you can recognize what your strengths are, also your personality, as well as your in your career, what you do job-wise, etc., and write them down. And if you can be working in a profession that you're using your strengths, you will feel more empowered. If you're in a position where you feel that you're not really, achieving well, or you're not fully on top of things, or if it's something new that you're doing, then you're going to feel less empowered. So by learning the things and by giving yourself the option to advance in it and to utilize your strengths is where you are going to feel empowered every day, and not just on the on and off. All right. There's always a debate. Once again, I don't know if we have time for this, but maybe afterwards, if there is. There's debate of, do you have to be happy to feel successful, or do you have to be successful in order to be happy? So the truth is, happiness leads to success. The first part. We know many successful people that are not happy at all in their lives. But by you being happy and by you showing and emanating true inner happiness and making an effort and working on certain things, and we're going to talk about some of the things now today, that will enable you to feel more successful, to reach true success, and to feel more empowered. So one of the ways that we can actually push ourselves and actually feel more successful, many of you may have heard of the term comfort zone. So with your comfort zone, it means that we're in the circle right here. That means with anything that we feel comfortable. And the only way that we can really feel empowered and move forward in life is if we can actually allow ourselves to do activities that can literally burst through this comfort zone. And that's where we have short-term goals, long-term goals, and where you have your vision, which is basically an accumulation of all these things. And it's basically an extension of your long-term goals. As long as you are staying in your comfort zone, not trying anything new, not doing anything to push yourself. So you may be satisfied, but the truth is, will you really feel empowered? And the answer is unlikely so. We feel empowered when we push ourselves and when we allow ourselves to burst through that zone and to achieve our goals. So I would like for every single person to think about now, as well as after the session, what are the things that you're holding yourself back on? Where are you sitting in your comfort zone? There may be things that you do move beyond your comfort zone, and there are maybe other things that you don't, that you're not allowing yourself to do so. So as a woman and as a Jewish woman, there are many things that we can do in our family, with our children, just for ourselves, in our businesses, in our professions. Even if you're not a business owner, that's totally fine. Goals are for everyone. It's not limited only to businesses. So talking of goals, most of you have heard, or many of you that have attended my workshops, have heard of the acronym S.M.A.R.T goals, which stands for, as you see here, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-framed. And if you can set yourself up to, say, 3 goals a day, don't overdo it. Don't try to push yourself too far. If you see you can do it, great, because you'll feel empowered when you're achieving your goals. So let me give you an example. My famous one that I like to use is that if somebody wants to lose weight. So if you say, I want to lose weight, it's not a SMART goal. And if you see you're not losing weight, then you're not going to feel empowered. The opposite, you'll probably feel a little bit like a failure. But if you say to yourself, I want to lose 3 kilos in the next month, and I'm going to do it via going to the gym or exercising, then I'm sure you'll agree with me, that is more achievable. Is it specific? Yes. You've said you want to measure to lose 3 kilos. Is it measurable? Yes, because you have a number there. The number is actually twice here. Also the time frame with how much you want to lose weight, and also the time frame in how long you want to lose weight. Is it attainable or realistic? Yes, certainly so. If you say, I want to lose 20 kilos in 3 weeks, then that's not. And here you've set yourself a time frame. So in order to feel empowered, when you see that you're achieving this goal, or if you see, well, I'm starting to lose weight, but I haven't yet lost the 3 kilos, so maybe add another week, so change the T. You can change any one of these variables. Or you can say, well, okay, I'm going to keep the 3 weeks the same or the month the same, but I'm going to adjust the S. Instead of 3 kilos, let me say 2 kilos, and then you'll feel a success. So whenever you feel that you're achieving your goals, that is a way for you to feel empowered. Now, goal setting is directly related to time management as well. If you can feel that you're managing your time correctly, then you will feel more empowered. If you finish at the end of each day and you see that you're not managing to do stuff, you feel that you've got stuff on your list, Alavai, you should be making a list. So if you're not making a list, start making a list. That's a good step, at least if you're making a list. But if you see that you're not achieving most of the things that you've written down, or you're multitasking too much, yes, everyone says that multitasking is good, but too much of it, as we know, is not good. Or if you find that you're procrastinating, the more you can, then that's also, you will not feel empowered. The more that you can manage your time correctly, and there are many different ways and different principles to help you manage your time, which we're not going to get into now. Or if you're controlling how much you're multitasking or limiting how much you're procrastinating, then you will feel more empowered. As you can see here, it's all an internal thing. It's something that you can personally, each and every one of us can do every single day in order to feel more empowered. The next way to feel more empowered is to allow ourselves to make change. Now, making change is challenging. It's scary. We don't all allow ourselves to do that. So if we can first identify where we need to make change, and then find a route or ask somebody to assist us or guide us in terms of making change. Once again, we're not going to go into all the details now, but first and foremost is to identify where you feel that you would like to make a change in your life, in your profession, career, whatever it is. And by you identifying it first of all, and then taking action to try and make that happen, that will then encourage you and allow you to feel more empowered. It'll allow you to do other things too. You'll feel happier, you'll feel more satisfied. But our topic today is empowerment. And by allowing yourself to make change and identifying change, that will happen too. On a different topic, never stop learning. Okay, ongoing learning, development, self-improvement will all enhance our self-empowerment. And Baruch Hashem, today there is a ton of information out there, whether you choose books or articles, whether you join any particular groups, whether you're listening to podcasts or any YouTube or go to workshops, whether it's live or recorded. All these are ways of you to feel more empowered. If you're going on a long trip and you're by yourself in the car, or if you're on the train or the bus, listen to a podcast, listen to YouTube. Yes, music is great. It gives you some downtime. But at the same time, if you can even just for 20 minutes or half an hour, listen to something, that'll make a huge, huge difference, and it'll help you feel more empowered as well. The next thing I'd like to say is we all talk about the terms being proactive or reactive. All right, proactive means that we initiate things. Certainly, if you're a proactive type and personality, then you will feel empowered when you start initiating things. If you're a reactive type, that's also okay. I don't want to say one is better than the other. However, what's important is to choose how you react. We all know that we can determine totally how we choose to react to a particular situation. You're stuck in traffic, you can choose to either get angry, get frustrated, feel pressured, or you can just say, this is what it is, and make the best of your time. And there's many, many examples that we can give. So what's important is not only what happens or what we choose to do or not do, but how we react and when we can be more proactive and actually take things on instead of just being a reactive type to certain things. The next thing sounds very cliche, but it's very, very true, okay? We all know that not only are our thoughts and our positive attitude, whether it's positive or negative, or whether we mix with positive or negative or power of the people, that directly affects us as a person. The mixing with the people affects our thoughts and our attitude. It directly affects our body language as well. And the way that you portray your body language will make a difference of whether you come across as empowering or whether you feel all shy and meek. And it all starts with here, what we're thinking in our mind and our thoughts. So the more that we can try, and once again, I know it's not easy or not always easy, but the more that you can try, have positive thoughts, kick out those negative thoughts the moment you feel that they're into your mind, maintaining that half cup full positive attitude as a woman, as a Jewish woman, as influencing our families, children, grandchildren, and mixing with positive people, or choosing to limit those that you can't necessarily eliminate in your life, but choosing to limit contact with them, that will make you feel empowered as well. The next way to make you feel empowered is by either volunteering, giving chesed, showing gratitude, and saying thank you. These are all things that make you feel empowered. We all know in terms of the volunteer side, or when you give chesed, that normally the person that gives very often feels even stronger or more powerful or more empowered. I don't mean powerful in a way that you're controlling it, but you feel more empowered than the person that's receiving it. So keep giving, keep showing chesed, show gratitude. Every morning, wake up and say, what am I thankful for? Okay, what am I thankful today? Keep a gratitude list. Say thank you as well. Thank you to Hashem. Say thank you to people as well. 2 little words, thank you, makes a big, big difference in life. The other thing is resilience. If you're able to bounce back quickly after you have a challenging day or challenging experience, it's going to help you feel a lot more empowered. Now, it would be unrealistic to say, well, I'm never going to have a challenging day, or I'm not going to have a challenging experience. It's part of life. We all have it. But depending on how we choose to manage it and handle it, and how resilient we are, or how quickly we bounce back, instead of letting it pull us down, will empower you. So have your pity party if you need to, for an hour or for a year, or for even a day, okay? But don't let it go on for a week if you can help it. The quicker you can pull yourself in is how you are going to bounce back.
Okay, we're going to need to wrap it up. Okay,
sure.
it's
okay.
fascinating.
You know what? Can I just finish with 1 or 2 and then I'll wrap up? Okay. Speak up, ladies. When you need to speak up, be there, speak up. We're actually almost, literally, this is the second last slide. Try something new. Say to yourself, I can do it. And if you can say, I can do it, you'll be a positive role model to yourself, to your others, and to others as a woman and as a Jewish woman. And I know that you can do it. Believe in yourself that you can do it too. Thank you, Gila.
Thank you, Lesley. Wow, that was jam-packed, really jam-packed. You got lots to take away, ladies. And I said, when you talked about that comfort zone, it was like me here on this telephone versus my computer, out of my comfort zone. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to move straight on to Frimet. Please, Frimet, unmute yourself and introduce yourself and let us enjoy what you have to share. Thank you. Frimet, we can't hear you. Can't hear Frimet. No?
I think she's not muted. I think it's maybe her speakers aren't working.
Yeah. Frimet, something's not working there. We can't hear anything. Maybe go in, come in again. Okay, sometimes when you go out and you come in again, it seems to pick up. Strange, because we tried this before. We can't hear you. We can lip read a little bit. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, fine. I have to tell you, Lesley, it was as if that you and I were coordinated in the sense that what you said, I've got to say with crystals. Okay. I want to tell everybody the crystals that are going to give them some of those, important talents. Till Frimet comes. Okay, Frimet, you're back. Just unmute yourself and start talking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so my name is Frimet Yagod. I've been in special ed, particularly multiple special ed, for the last 41 years. Before we even launch into, the special ed, let me give the Torah sources for a woman in terms of her empowerment. We find in the Gemara in Brachos in 43 side B, it tells us, Melamed shekol echad ve'echad yipol lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu u'malusa b'fanav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu implants in the person, in each person, the love for their profession. And if you look at the Maharsha, on that page, he says very clearly that when a person starts their profession, they should do so till the end of their life, because that's part of their mission here in this world. Now, some people will say, but they change career. But if you look at the change, there is a common thread between where they were and where they went to. For example, we had somebody who was a teacher and decided to become a social worker. That makes a lot of sense, right? Because teachers have some social work background in them. Okay, so the next thing we also have is from Aisha Skyle. Zera Shimshon tells us something very, very, really beautiful about the relationship between Avram Avinu and Sarah Imeinu. When it says Sadin Asasava Timkur,
Sadin Timkor. She made the sheets and she sold them.
Okay, so first of all, now depending on how you translate Sadin, it could be linens, it could be whatever. Okay, and what she did, she sold them far and wide, and she had a thriving business. What Avram Avinu was doing is celebrating Sarah as a whole person. She's not just his Rebbitzin, and what does she give him as the Rebbitzin to enhance his ability to be Megayer people and to help and the Hachnas Sarcham? He took a look at Sarah Imenu and saw a whole Sarah Imenu person, a Tzelem Elokim, a person has so much to give. And he saw every facet of Sarah Imenu, right? And Sarah Imenu did give. She helped him out when it came to Parnasa, and she helped him up. And Avram Avinu wanted her to do that because that was part of her talents. To stifle her talents just so she could help him out with the Gerim was not what Avram Avinu wanted. He wanted the whole Sarah Imenu. He wanted to see the whole Sarah Imenu come to fruition. Okay, so that's our that's one source. We also know that, we know that everybody is made b'tzelem Elokim, in the image of Hashem, and we also know the Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam, that the candle of Hashem is the neshama of a person, and no one else has a right to extinguish another person's neshama. Before we discuss about the special ed, in order to understand why there was a decision to go into special ed, especially the Multitasking special ed, we have to understand it from the backdrop of two miracles that happened around my birth. So when my mother was pregnant with me, in the first trimester, she was very sick. And being that my mother was a nurse, she researched all types of medications, whatever, what could she take, what she could not take. So one day she walks into her obstetrician, says, "Doctor, I would really like to get this medication because of the nausea, etc." And he says, "Oh, do you mean this thing?" She says, "Yes." So he proceeded to walk her to the facilities in the office. He opened up the package and proceeded to eliminate the contents of the package via the facilities. I don't have to tell you what she felt like afterwards. And she came home, she told my father Zechron Baruch what happened, and my father Zechron Baruch said, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu made sure that you didn't get it, it's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saving you from something. Okay. So 6 months later, after I was born, Baruch Hashem, Chazdei Hashem, a healthy baby, what happens? All these kids who were the products of these mothers who were taking this medication, all of a sudden were born with flippers or with torsos or combination of thereof. That drug was called thalidomide. So that was the first miracle. The second miracle was that when I was 6 months old, my two eyes did not work together. And being my mother was a nurse, she realized something was wrong. So she took me to the pediatrician, and he says to her, tell me something, were you around somebody who has a cat litter? And my mother says, I come to think of it, and in the third trimester, I went to visit my friend so-and-so. Yeah, well, okay. Your daughter has toxoplasmosis in her right eye. Toxoplasmosis is a very rare eye condition. most often it leaves people in both very severe cognitive and physical disability. Baruch Hashem, the only thing it did was leave me with scar tissue on the right retina, which means I only have peripheral vision in the right eye, not central vision. So from here launched my new career in special ed. There was no special ed in Toronto at the time. Being that my mother was a nurse, my fine motor therapy was piano. My gross motor therapy was ballet and swimming. My facial orientation therapy was playing chess with my oldest brother. For those of you in Toronto, remember that. I know somebody is on here from Toronto. And so this was how I was raised. And my mother and my father's a Kohen Roka had a hashkafa that everybody is a Tzelem Elokim. It's not how a Kodesh Baruch Hu made you physically. Everybody is a Tzelem Elokim. But one of the things that bothered me very much, because there was no special ed here in Toronto, I saw friends of mine that, you know, if you couldn't do the work, they kept getting failed, but they never really blossomed into the people that they could be. And then when I went to seminary in Eretz Yisrael, I had a roommate who was dyslexic. And upon the advice of a friend of mine who lived in Yerushalayim at the time, my friend Judith Berger, I ended up going to Shaarei Tzedek and making a deal with them that they would train me in dyslexia, and in turn they had rights to take x-rays of my eye. And this was one of the things that got me started. And now, so what do? Right, so I went to New York, and that's what started everything. So one of the things what I like now, one of the things also very important is to remember that when a Kodesh Baruch Hu gives us any talents, the first thing is Hakaras HaTov. The first thing is our appreciation for what HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. There are times we get things because that's innately what HaKadosh Baruch Hu implanted in us. Sometimes there are things that we acquire based on these situations that we go through. Either way, we have to have tremendous Hakaras HaTov to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for every little thing that we have, because it's those things that we were put here for. And that was also how my book came to be, because there was no Judaica special ed at the time, and we certainly didn't have any IEPs at the time. So we had to create an IEP. Otherwise, in MEM, every single time you get a student, you have a blank piece of paper, and trying to quantify those mini skills took us 3 hours to write every IEP. So you can imagine you have 21 students. Oh, sorry, individualized education plan. Okay, so that was, okay. So we have to recognize that regardless of what a person is born with, everybody has something to contribute, and that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu put everybody here. Everybody has something to give. And it doesn't make a difference what age we are. You could, no matter what age you are, you could still contribute. And my mother's a Kohen Roka who just passed away, of, you know, up until the last 6 weeks, she was very active. You know, at the ripe age of 85, she started a chesed organization where they knitted or crocheted Afghans for the palliative care unit in the Baker's Hospital, for Lifeline. There were all types of different ways and distributed to different stuckers in the city. She started at this age at 85, okay, and she passed away at the age of almost 97, okay? She was doing this till 6 weeks before she passed away. So it's not age, it's a question of, we recognize the talents that the Kodesh Baruch Hu give us, and then when we get up in the morning, when we say our Moedani, are we not just saying our Moedani? Are we saying to Hashem, I'm getting up today, and what else can I give back to you, Rabbeinu Shalom, because of all the chesed that you've done for me? My mother had started needle pointing and embroidery and knitting when she was a foster child. She grew up as a Yisayma. And through her
Orphan.
lifetime, what do you say, Gila?
Orphan. She grew up as an orphan.
Yeah. So sorry, thank you. Okay, and throughout her lifetime, and she said that every single thing that person's given, no matter what the circumstances, everything is used to benefit others. Even up until her last Shabbos, her last day of Shabbos before she went to the hospital. Now, at that point in time, she wasn't as mobile as she could be. What did she do? She had a pen, she had a paper, and she had a telephone. She had a list of people who had lost husbands for many years. She would call them every Erev Shabbos just to find out how they are. So it has nothing to do with age. It has to do with how do we recognize the talents and the gifts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us, and how we're going to give that back to others.
Wow.
This is what gives us the empowerment of a Jewish woman. Last week, in anybody who's part of the Nishmas group, there was somebody by the name of Miriam Yachal Feldman, who was a somatic healer, and she said something really amazing. She said the Lubavitcher Rebbe says that we women are the Gilgulim, we are the reincarnation of the women who left Egypt. We know the Chazal that says that was in the merit of the women who left Egypt, that in their merit the Jews were saved, and it will be in the merit of those women that the final redemption will happen. The way you can be Mekariv the Geula is never underestimate what it is that you can give. It doesn't make a difference whether one is a cashier in a bank, whether they are the CEO of a company. It doesn't make a difference. Whatever your contribution, that's part of your contribution. Go for it, do it. Whatever skills you need, go for it. Why? Because you don't know that your little piece may be the linchpin to Geula. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Wow, that was so powerful. Thank you very much, Frimet. Really, okay, so I feel totally empowered to think that I could be, or all of us here are part of that generation that's going to bring the Geula. That's amazing. So I want to very quickly give you a few recommendations of some crystals which will actually help you to implement what Lesley said to you and what Frimet said to you today. I just want to mention something, okay, that Frimet's mother went on to become a professor of gynecology and obstetrics, okay? So she was an amazing woman who we could look towards from the little bit that we know of Frimet's mother and Frimet, of course, and try to emulate such a woman who didn't matter what stage of her life she was in, she was giving back to society, and she was doing. And I think that is part of the nefesh, the neshama, the being of a Jewish woman is to give. That's what we want to do. And we have throughout, this one of the strongest stories, obviously, is when God says to Avraham Avinu, he says, listen to your wife. Whatever your wife says, do. Okay? And that included sending away his son, Yishmael, and his mother, and Yishmael's mother, from his home. That's a very strong thing. But God said, listen to your wife. So we are very strong and capable women, and we should use our very good sense, because we're also told that women have bina, extra sense, extra understanding, many capabilities. I'm just looking at my watch, so I'm very conscious, extra conscious. So I want to quickly tell you. First of all, I want to talk about the ruby for a second, because the ruby, I always say, is a women's stone. It's a women's stone because it helps women during pregnancy and for fertility and for many things. However, what I haven't necessarily told you about is that the ruby is a stone that helps the woman to stand up for herself in a determined way. And I think that that's important. It's also important, and this is what the ruby can help with, is for us to take responsibility and to take charge of our lives. It gives us positive energy. And it's also uplifting to our roots. What does that mean, uplifting to our roots? Our roots, if we go through the energy centers, our roots is our base, is our root chakra, which talks about our childhood. It uplifting, not all of us, not everybody had the most perfect childhood, but this is going to give us strength to overcome difficulties that we may have had during our childhood and to get up and over and keep on going. So those are a few things I want to say about the ruby. I want to go on about another stone now. This stone is called the Amazonite, and it's a favorite of mine. So I have it with me, even if I'm in the field, I got it with me wherever I am. Okay. Now this helps a person to come to their true and authentic self. Sometimes, and I know for myself, when I was working in a particular job, which was not good for me, I felt it wasn't good for my neshama. I was so desperate for this stone, for this amazonite. And at one stage, once I'd made my decision, I was leaving that job and getting on with my life, what was going to be good for me. I lost the stone. It disappeared and I didn't need it. So I have it back with me again because I always want to be authentic and true to myself, and to be able to bring forth what I have. And as those of you who know me know, I'm very passionate and love doing what I do with the crystals. This is very important. The Amazonite is also going to be good to help you trust your decisions and move forward. Appreciate your strengths and accept yourself as you are. And I think that that's really very strong. And we have that with the rose quartz as well. Accept yourself as you are. Love yourself. Feel good about yourself. You have strengths. God loves you. He gave you so many beautiful gifts. Recognize them, which ties into what Lesley said. Recognize the gifts that Hashem has given you and use them. Use them, appreciate them, and know that you do have gifts, ladies. Each and every one of us have such beautiful gifts from Hashem. Okay, sometimes, okay, we need. Lesley talked about the happiness, and then comes the success. I am so with you on that, because when we fill ourselves with good, positive, happy energy, we can probably build the world. We can do so much more. And I often say to people, if there's a task that you enjoy doing, start your day with that. Begin your day with what you love to do, and then think about how your day is going to look after that. So that hope and optimism also comes with the Amazonite. And I think another thing I want to mention with the rose quartz, it tells us to take time for happiness and joy. Exactly. Take out the time to be happy and to enjoy as well. And there's something else that is probably very liberating, is when we forgive other people. Sometimes we have people that we need to forgive. If you can forgive them, you're going to feel liberated, and you're going to be able to move on and to step into yourself in an even greater way. It also makes you a greater person. Okay. And the last stone I'm going to talk about is the jade. Okay. I think a lot of people know jade. And jade is a great stone. And I talk about that because it purifies blood, which is why it's very good for babies that have babies that are jaundiced. And they, particularly the boys, when they're jaundiced, and we want the Brit to be on time. So the jade is a terrific stone for that. But that's what I usually talk about. But today I want to tell you that the jade is also a great stone to help you actualize yourself, to do what you want to do what you're capable of doing, to do what you're great at doing. It's going to help you to do that. And it's also going to help you to feel loved, because I think when we all feel loved, it gives us such a boost in life. And we have those boosts, we can do things so much better. Okay. Also, another thing that's important, the jade tells us about, is to be attuned to the needs of other people. Okay, so even though we're trying to achieve our aims, it's good to be attuned to the needs of other people. Okay, and when Lesley mentioned multitasking, the jade's helpful. Why is it helpful? Because it tells us to choose the most important task. Because I think in some senses, multitasking is less in fashion today. More in vogue is the fact that we're going to do one task and we're going to see it through. Okay, and the jade is going to help us to choose which task that has to be, one of those 3 tasks that Lesley mentioned. Okay, so that's what I'm quickly sharing with you. And I want to also tell you, okay, I'm going to tell you what special offers I'm giving just for saving time. And then Lesley is going to also share some special offers she has. I think Frimet gave us a special talk, but I don't think she's in the field of giving us special offers. If I'm wrong, Frimet, tell me. Okay, I'm always happy, anything you have to offer. I've spoken to Frimet. She sits in Canada and I sit in Israel. And through various WhatsApp groups and various things, we've become friends, actually. And I've spoken to her a number of times. And every time I speak to Frimet, I come out more knowledgeable and having learned something. Okay, so I want to say for myself, I'm going to give you a coupon code for my webinar, which is on Thursday night. This week on Thursday, webinar being Crystal Clear Marriage Magic. Okay, and that's going to enhance ourselves. Some great tips there, really, and I'll talk more about the Ruby. But the coupon code is women, and you are going to be able to go to that webinar for free if you use the coupon code. But it's available only, and it's not only the webinar's on Thursday, it's available until Wednesday. Anybody who signs up for my course, okay, if you sign up for my course by Wednesday, then also you will receive, because there's an early bird offer on, but you'll receive a set of crystals in addition to all the other crystals that you're going to receive taking part of the course. Okay, thank you, ladies. Lesley, what special offers are you giving for our ladies? And I'm going to send you a follow-up email.
Okay, great. Thank you, Gila. And I loved hearing all your stuff and about the crystals. It's awesome. And Frimet, it was lovely to hear your things too. Thank you. So my special offer is 30% off on a meeting with me, whether it's a business coaching strategy session or whether it's to achieve you reaching your goals in life or anything else. Once again, you don't have to be in business. So it's 30% off. You do need to be in touch with me to book it by the end of December, and then it needs to be used up by the end of January. Okay, so I will write my email here, or you'll probably write it as well, Gila, but it's hello@lesleykaplan.com. Okay,
I'm going to send out I'm going to send out a follow-up email. It may take a little while because that I can't do in the field, okay? But I'm going to send out a follow-up email with a recording, Lesley's offer, my offer, and I'd love to hear back from you, ladies. Okay, you can email, WhatsApp, how you felt about this panel, and I thank each and every one of you for joining. Thank you, Lesley, so much. That was a wonderful talk. And Frimet, thank you so much. It was great to have you both as guest panelists. And I wish everybody a great week and a Chanukah Sameach. להתראות, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.